we built an application called RightInsight. Um, and this is a Protelo exclusive product. I'm going to give you a demo of that in just a moment. But essentially, we take that saved search data, we feed it into AI and let that do a lot of the heavy lifting analysis for you. So let's go ahead and go into a few examples. And you should be seeing my NetSuite again. I'm going to go ahead and go into our custom application. You can see it's right inside NetSuite. I'm going to go into RightInsight AI and go ahead and launch that. And you'll see here we have RightInsight. And so, as I mentioned, it currently relies on saved searches. So I'm going to pick a saved search that goes over vendor bill transactions. And I'm going to ask it for, let's say, the top three takeaways from this data. Right. So these are some recommended questions. I can type anything else I want in here if I wanted to focus on something else. And I'm just going to go ahead and click Analyze Data. So that's going to pull that report from NetSuite. It's going to read the data in that saved search, and then it's going to provide some insights based on our question here. Um, so here's an example of the results. You can see it's broken down into an executive summary. So it read the information in here and realized that we have pretty significant liabilities, over $500,000. And it's found that it's concentrated in just a few key vendors. It also found a severely aged outstanding payment that's, what is that, about 5+ years old. Um, and so it found an anomaly as well. And it's went ahead and generated a graph that it thought we'd find useful. So we can see at a glance, these are our top 10 vendors by essentially the amount remaining that we have due. And so almost $250,000 with this one, and second place is 73. So this custom products vendor, it looks like we really owe some money to. And if I keep scrolling down, it's actually going to break that down further into different priorities and insights. So same as we saw, right, looking at this graph, AI saw it as well. It says custom products is the largest portion of outstanding liabilities, almost 40% of our liabilities. And it talks about an invoice outstanding that's severely overdue, right? That was that anomalous one that's very old and probably needs to be paid. So it's marked that as high priority, and it's telling me I should investigate why that's so overdue, and then figure out a plan to pay this custom products vendor back. It's also flagged that beyond those where we're consistently paying late, which I think everyone agrees is an issue, right? So it's saying that we need to review our process and figure out why that's happening and where the bottleneck in that process is. Going further in here, again, it's found that there's some undefined or ambiguous payment terms for a significant chunk of vendors. So it's saying I can look at that, and that helps us stay on top of our data, right? So the best data is data that's consistently looked at and flagged when there's errors. Nothing's perfect, right? And so that's going to help us stay on top of that. So not only has it done this analysis, but now I can also ask it some follow-up questions. So let me see here. So it's already done the three takeaways. You saw the summary. Let's say I want to dive into those terms here. So it's saying that some vendors have terms of none listed, and I want that a little bit better formatted. So I'm going to say, uh, give me a list of vendors that have no terms set. And so I can see here it's looked over the data set and it's found that these vendors don't have any terms, which means I need to go to those vendor records and correct those. Um, I also want to see give me a list of vendors uh, with the top. What are the vendors with the five highest standing balance? And I'll tell it to give me in a table. So you can see here, it's calculated the five highest outstanding custom products, of course. And if we can, of course, pull this from here as well. Um, but I find this helpful because now maybe I'm just going to copy and paste this data into Excel. And I can analyze it further. For instance, I can also see maybe I've edited the search recently. I want to make sure that I pulled the right search. So I can say, what columns are available in the data I gave you? Okay, so I can see based on my search, it has access to this, and I could add more, I could remove more, right? It's entirely driven by the search. You're always in control of your data. And it looks like there's phone and email available. So I'm going to say add phone and email to the list of the top outstanding table, the top outstanding vendors. And so now I've got a list of my top outstanding vendors. I know I can call them. And let's say I want to move on to the same thing earlier we talked about terms, right? So um, show me vendors with terms of due on receipt or none. Um, Show me in a table, include their email. And so here are my list of vendors. I've got emails as long as the email is in the system, and I can see the ones that are due on receipt or none. And that's important because we're consistently paying late, right? So maybe that's because they don't have 30-day terms, they're due on receipt. And that's just not possible for us to turn it over that quickly. Now I can easily reach out to these and try and get different or better terms, right? So that's an example of one. I'm going to move on to another analysis now, using a different search and show you some additional capabilities here. So if I do sales by customer, and in this case, I'm just going to summarize the financial data. I'm going to go ahead and run that. And here is our result. So it's decided to group by year. It knows that 2025 is just a partial year because we're not through it yet. And it looks like our financial growth has been really good. Revenue's been escalating dramatically year over year. We can, of course, see that in the table. Um, and it's already set to make 2025 another strong year, mostly from contributions, though concentrated among a top set of customers, right? So maybe we're not as diversified as we could be. If I scroll down further, it talks about our exponential growth and financial performance. Um, Total amount recorded from 2022 to 2023, and then up to over 5 million in 2024. And then with that through May, we're already at 4 million, right? So this is a pretty healthy, good trajectory we're on. Um, it talks about Abbott Inc., one of being our largest contributor, accounting for almost 20% of our revenue. And the second place is 1 million, right? So almost half of that. So we're probably at a bit of a risk in diversification, and it's found that and flagged that for us to consider. It's also found that there's some oddities in the data set, right? So there's some with negative amounts and there's some with zero amounts. So maybe this is expected. Maybe we know we gave them a free trial or something, and so we put that order in as zero. Or maybe there's a problem here. Maybe there's returns and we need to call and figure out what's going on. Or maybe that shouldn't have been zero and we're losing revenue, right? So it's flagged that as well for our attention. And then gives us a little bit of a pat on the back for going well and trying to maintain that efficiency. So I can go here and say, similar to before, let's start with a list of the top customers. So give me a list of the top four customers. Um, and all right, is that true overall? Is that true for only considering 2025? So maybe it's changed in 2025. That one's given the AI more to think about, right? Because now it's going to automatically divide our data set. It's going to group by year, and then also by the customer. So some of these can take a little bit longer to come back. It's pretty much always under a minute or so. And it looks like they are different, but very slightly, right? So one and two stayed the same, three and four changed. So maybe I want to call Smith Supplies because they used to be number three and they're not even top four anymore. So now I've got the email and the phone number. I can reach out and I can say um, to reach out and rebuild relationship with Smith. And so now I've even got the email, right? So I can just copy paste this, send this off to tsmith at Smith Supplies, and kind of be on my way. So it's a lot faster than manually slicing and dicing my data, going through, changing all those search parameters. We've done a ton of tests going into this webinar, and I've been waiting for it to make a mistake, and it really hasn't. That being said, obviously AI data is always at risk of that, right? Especially if you've used these tools, you know that that's a possibility, but it's getting better all the time. And I know I've played with this a few times in the past, this idea. It's something we've wanted to do for a while. And I'd say that the AI models about 3 months ago showed huge improvement in terms of accuracy. And so that's why we've started moving forward with this now. So I think they've come a long way. I think they're going to continue to get better. And then I haven't had an issue with accuracy in my testing. There's also a question on whether this is only used for saved searches. So right now it does only support saved searches. We have it on our roadmap to be able to pull in multiple saved searches. So you could analyze multiple or pull multiple data sources in at once to look at multiple angles. Um, we also have a planned improvement to work with Suite Analytics data sets. Um, so those are two additional possibilities there. Um, Reports, NetSuite doesn't give a lot of access in terms of exporting those. So reports aren't supported, but almost always you can rewrite a report in a safe search. And of course, we're happy to help you out with that too in terms of formatting your data in a way you can make the most of it, not only for this tool, but for yourself too.
I think this is just an incredibly intelligent tool. When we were using it, just so everybody knows, our whole team was absolutely excited about just being able to have this technology and seeing what it was producing as the outcome. And even today, when Eddie's showing it here in this webinar, it really does just blow my mind at the capabilities of efficiency. Because when you are able to just ask questions, which you know that you're doing every day in your head while you're interfacing with NetSuite, you're typing those out, and NetSuite is just giving those answers back to you. I really have a great appreciation for this. this and there's, like I've said in other areas of NetSuite, this is a huge hit in being able to evolve what is there. So what we've created is RightInsight. And Eddie, I didn't mean to kind of talk over you there, but I just wanted the opportunity to show again just this intelligence that you've built into NetSuite. And we can help any of our clients. If you're interested, please let us know here at the end. We'll have contact information to do that.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Travis. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, this time I'm going to actually do a custom prompt. I'm going to say, analyze the performance of the sales reps. Um, I have a sales rep commission search here. To go ahead and search over that. And so again, here's the summary. It's talking about how it's highly concentrated, right? And again, it shows us that in the graph. Burt Bacchus is generating an overwhelming majority of the gross profit, largely due to a single exceptional large transaction, right? So either there's a mistake or an outlier. Um, it's also flagging that we've got someone that's consistently got negative gross profit. So that's something we've got to stay on top of. And some other maybe performance concerns in our data here. And you can definitely see that Bert's got a significant outlier transaction there. So massive amount, 90%, single transaction in December of 2024, right? So that's going to let us single that out. And obviously that makes us very reliant on Bert. It's also flagged that Matt Fisher has negative gross profit, and it's been consistently negative gross profit. Um, of course, that's costing us money, so we need to go contact Matt, figure out what's going on there. And then we have some kind of variable performance. So every once in a while, we get negative gross profit from certain sales reps, and it calls them out, and it calls kind of out their worst month. Um, Looks like August is consistently not a great month for all of these. So maybe we already know something happened in our business in August, or maybe that's an indicator for something we want to dig more into. Um, Again, the performance disparity, and it understands, right, that Bert is an outlier. So even ignoring Bert, it's saying that these two lead the sales team, and everyone else can kind of be far behind. And then again, it's helping us with those data inconsistencies. It realizes that maybe it's a low priority, but there's some contact information for these sales reps that is not in NetSuite and probably should be. And there's a few people without a supervisor.
Yeah,
So,
that is just amazing. Sorry, Eddie, just to interrupt you. This is
mhm.
available over any area of their business in NetSuite, correct?
Yes, anything that a saved search can support.
Yeah, and that's huge. If you know and are using Save Searches heavily in NetSuite, and if you're not, we can help you configure this so in your system you're getting the results similar to what Eddie here is showing. And this isn't available anywhere, right? You can get this directly from Protelo, and it's brand new and it works just incredibly intelligently. The advantage to navigating through all the data is it's a very simple process for the AI to do it and then eliminates and frees you up to having to do all of that analysis and those communications. I love the email part that you had described in there, how it just came up with that. Those things, if you're already using AI for some of your communications, you can take directly out of NetSuite with the data and ship it off in an email. And we can get you started on that right away with RightInsight. I see you're still
And
going and
so
stuff. This is
again,
good.
right, those that have been watching. So now I want to see if there's significant differences in gross profit between the supervisors, because maybe it's not really a sales rep problem, maybe it's a supervisor problem. So it's going to group that and break that down for me. Um, and again, I don't want Bert's to skew the data, and maybe I don't want to go back and edit my search. So instead, I'm just going to say ignore Bert's large transaction. Um, and it's going to rerun that and basically get rid of that outlier transaction. You can see we still have the skew. Um, so I'm going to say, give me contact info for the bottom three sales reps in a table. Show uh, their GP in 2025. And so now I can see their phone numbers, who their supervisor is, and then I can figure out here's their gross profit, right, for 2025 specifically, because we're already 7 months in. So let's focus on the present, not necessarily the past, right, if we're going to reach out and correct something. So that's what I had to demo. Again, I'll take a short break for pause or questions, but hopefully you're as excited about this as we are. And I know it was a lot of fun to build. So
Yeah, thanks. And it's immediately available. Let's go ahead and switch back. So as I'm resharing my screen here, stick with us. We have, if we're going through some Q&A here at the end. Please ask us anything. Kara has started the poll. And again, I said in the beginning, I'll say it again. We appreciate you participating, taking time out of your busy day to join us for this webinar series. We feel like these are just very powerful tools in NetSuite that we demonstrated today. And then as you saw with RightInsight, please reach out. We can get started with you as soon as this week. If you need help integrating AI with your business, we have this to, again, ease of use. Scan this QR code in. You can reach directly out and reach out to us post this webinar anytime, ask some questions. And if you already have my contact information, please reach out to me directly. If I don't answer the question, somebody on our team will. Especially Eddie and I are here to help out. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.